What's going on, everyone? I am DeFi Sean, and this is Infinaeon Friday along with Mr. Pixels. How's it going, Mr. P?
What is up, everybody? I'm looking a little different here now today. We actually have no power right now here where I'm at, so I'm just on the phone. So if I do cut in and out, my apologies. But I've made it. I'm here anyway. That's the main thing. Doing good, man.
Yeah,
Doing good. Another week down. How you doing?
doing good. Yeah, I know that all too often, trying to do stuff, power going out. But also, guys, before I forget to say it, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, repost button, share button, whatever button you have to hit, because I know we're on multiple different platforms from X to YouTube to Twitch. Hit those buttons and get people in here. We're at about 30 viewers. We've been averaging right around 100 to 130 every single week, so very solid. But we're moving into a totally different phase of Infinion. We've been going through this building phase for a while. We knocked out the blockchain. We knocked out the DEX, the wallet, still working on iOS, but is live on Google. Our own social site, you name it, we knocked it out. And we're finally here with LunarPump Solana. Of course, it is live on mainnet. We do have a really great team that has had high levels of success launching tokens in the past, and they are very interested just with our relationship to go ahead and launch on the LunarPump Fund platform. And again, as everyone says, the biggest way to get attention to this platform and see that LPF on the end of the contract is to have a lot of bangers come off the platform. So that's our ultimate goal. We'll do everything to assist them and hopefully get that first $1 million run of the very first week that we're on and ready to go. Now, we wanted to do it Thursday, but the team wasn't quite ready. Obviously, can't rush them. They kind of have to do their own thing. And we didn't want to necessarily start heavy marketing without kind of coinciding with that, because funds are always precious. So this coming week, we should know. We're going to have a meeting with them Saturday. So we should know exactly what's going on. And we're going to get that set up, get that marketing going, and hopefully give everyone a huge winner coming off of the LunarPump Fund platform and really start getting that name going. And again, we have tons of high-level contacts in the background. Not only does that team have their contacts, but we actually have our own as well. So this is looking to be hopefully a really cool week for Infinion.
Yeah, right. And like we were discussing earlier too, and we've been discussing all week. Getting that runner or even a couple of runners it's so important, dude, because like all the marketing in the world, that's great, but like until you like get a big runner that hits some fat green candles, that's really when you start to peak like the main players in this space's attention, when something like that happens. And if you can make that happen a few times, people will start to take note, and then it's worth the wait, in my opinion, to make sure that that's kind of somewhat lined up, because it amplifies the marketing efforts for us when you have something like that that's running beside it, right? If you, this is great, but then you got like a really good story to go with it that actually happened, so I think it's super important to kind of do that, and if we can get that going, and it's a great thing for everybody watching too, right? All our community, because like I'm sure everybody here, yes, we all want marketing, but what we can all agree on we want most, and if you say you don't, you're lying, is a big fat runner. So that's the truth of it, in my opinion. I think everybody can kind of agree, and we're in a good spot. There's still even a few, one or two bugs being ironed out. I still see, I noticed something dropped in the chat a little earlier too, Sean. Maybe one or two little red flags coming up on random platforms here and there. So like anything like that, also that we can get ironed out as much as possible before like we do this, the better. So like I'm pretty happy where it's at right now. I'm excited, but I got another weekend here to crank out and try to get more stuff organized. So like it's bittersweet, but I think it's good. I think we're in a good spot for it right now. And remember, everybody, yes. And we did drop a new video, but let's run it right now. We're live on Solana currently, ready for the big push coming next week. A
Of course,
launcher like
very
no
cool
other,
video.
gents, ladies.
Yep. Yep. Hey, Picard, I do want to point something out. So that's on our YouTube channel, 14 viewers, but we have way more viewers than that currently. Majority, for whatever reason, majority of the viewership does come from X, which is why we went over there. It's just a more popular platform for stuff like this than X. So we are approaching 60 viewers, which is pretty typical. It kind of builds up usually to about 100 and something, but when you're seeing that, that's strictly on the YouTube channel. So you're not taking into account my YouTube channel, Joe's YouTube channel, my X account, Joe's X account, Infinaeon's X account, Twitch, all that good stuff.
LunarPump X account.
Yep, LunarPump X account. Yep, we're in multitude. It's like 7 different things we're streaming on. So I guess you can only see the numbers for what you're streaming on, but I mean, I have access on our screen to be able to see the numbers streaming everywhere.
Don't worry about them numbers. We're good.
Yeah, the numbers always turn out pretty good. But yeah, guys, for those that don't know, I mean, here's our platform. We're pretty much, again, ready to go. Also, keep in mind, a lot of people like that keyword marketing. But when I tell you, and again, do we know it all? No, but we have tons of experience in the marketing game. Twitter, which we're going to do a lot of Twitter paid marketing, but the Twitter push with us in the community is the biggest and best form of marketing. I see projects waste hundreds of thousands of dollars on YouTube campaigns, on little like Web3 ads on all your little websites and different things like that, that bring nothing back. If we want to make this work, we need to be all over Twitter, and we need to have some devs launching on the platform and run some major bangers off the platform. That's how we spread the word of this. Dropping 6 figures on Web2 marketing or something like that isn't going to get the job done. We need to be all over X, which is the most popular platform, to go ahead and promote these things. And then again, also, we need successful tokens coming off the platform. One thing that these other platforms don't have are mini successful tokens. Basically, no tokens bond, and there's even smaller amounts that actually get off the platform and run. So you're right. What am I calling it? Twitter? Am I calling it Twitter? But yeah, you're correct. So yes. If we can have a higher level of tokens actually bonding, and more importantly, tokens actually running into the millions, which is a big factor that people take into account when looking at these platforms. And I know that with some really big guys behind the scenes is if we can start having $1 million runner after $1 million runner, possibly even more so than Pump Fund, even with all the tokens that launch in there, it's possible to beat them in that category because that category for them is so small. The tokens launched off the platform is so small. So we definitely can overtake some of these big platforms in these numbers for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's I mean, it's looking great, dude. I mean, that's the token that just launched, right? Just yesterday or something. Is that right, Zero Boss?
Yeah,
I hadn't seen that one up there.
Random token, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so when this ball pushes out, yeah, like we've been saying, it's about having that runner, of course, but everything in tandem with each other is what's really going to take this to the next level. And of course, everything we can do to incentivize, you know, the more good, the better the experience people have when they come over here. Obviously, the buyers are going to come here, you know, as well. So that's going to open up to a massive community of people that are going to be like reached towards this dev team, right? Their own, whatever their, you know, their network is, right? Which is obviously going to be pretty substantial. So, you know, you're going to bring all those eyes to the platform. So we want to make sure that the experience that they have is like really good. The incentives are good. They understand what they see when they get there, right? They understand there's a cha-ching function. They understand that there's ways for them to make, you know, to generate some revenue on top of just, you know, playing the game, right? They understand the platform and the features and things like that. And it's going to be, you know, a lot of it's too is going to be on us, right? And our community to be able to, like, when all these people come over, like, we're there to assist, because, you know, these groups, they'll have whatever X accounts, telegrams, whatever it's going to be. And then, you know, you get in there and you mingle with them. So having our, you know, our own ground shock troops, I guess you could say, like being involved in those early communities, those big bangers that are coming off the platform, and like helping educate those people on the platform, and everything that we got going on here is going to be like as important. Word of mouth is always great, and especially if you're giving it off the back of a successful project, a successful runner that comes off, you know. And then they've not only had a good experience, they've learned about this whole new ecosystem that they weren't aware of. they'll have multi-chain options soon when EVM comes back online, having the ICO feature that a lot of them will probably need to be, hey, like this is what it does, right? They're going to need a little bit of assistance, so it's kind of going to be on all of us. And always then, of course, and a very easy way to do it is say, hey, go watch this week's Moon Monday or this week's Infinaeon Friday, or tune into LunarPump Radio, and you'll get all the data there, but just funneling them to all our different socials and stuff, and cranking out the content, and of course offering up the social form stuff that we got building out on all those other incentives. It's going to be giving money back after the bond, 50% back, and whatever that's going to be. Is it going to be 50? Has that been decided, Sean? Is it going to be 50 now? For sure, 50% initially, or is it going to ramp up once you kind of ramp marketing up, or is it going to stay as is?
So the numbers are going to ramp up as we move along. Yep.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. So you got that. Yeah. And you're going to have, like I said, the cha-ching function, the video functionality is going to be coming hot on the heels of this, very soon once this ramps up. So, dude, I'm super pumped for this thing, and I knowing as well that Social Swarm is getting so close here. We're very close to launching that too. And, having that going for these communities too, and being able to offer that, I think that's going to be great. And also, of course, that's another revenue generator for us. So the more revenue generators that we can get coming in, the more we can get the ecosystem churning, but it's all going to bounce off the back of a nice big fat green candle and a fat runner, so.
Yep. And a couple questions. So, I mean, we do have tech. I mean, I guess you can describe it as partnerships. So the way marketing works in crypto, you pay them money, you're a partner with them. There's not really any such thing as like organic marketing in crypto anymore. If you want someone to promote you, you basically have to pay them. But yeah, I mean, we have our relationship with Liam, who's actually a little bit more involved than a typical thing that he promotes. But yeah, I mean, we have relationships with anyone and everyone to get anything and everything we need, and then some. Are there a couple of launches also with the start of the marketing? There's one major launch that we're helping with. Are there going to be other people jumping in and launching tokens? I'm not sure. Obviously, we can't spread ourselves thin. So there's one token launching. They've shared the idea. We've kind of, came up with some different stuff, made it very clear that while we're about them obviously making a little bit of money, that this is not a cash grab. We need this to be a trustworthy platform. And the developers, especially developers that we push, have to do this on the up and up, have to give everyone a good opportunity to get involved and to not get dumped on. We need some pretty charts coming off this platform. So anyone that we partner with, we're going to make it clear that that's one of the stipulations when we get behind them, that this isn't something that you can just pump and dump. Like we need this, that good looking, pretty chart. We want to create an environment where people want to hop on our platform, and retail investors, they hear the word LunarPump Fund, and for one time in their life, they actually think, God, I can actually find a good token coming off of that platform. And that's the ultimate goal. Obviously, we can't control all the tokens, but any tokens that we somewhat associate with via crypto on calls, that will be what we require. So when you see Crypto on Calls kind of putting our name behind a token on the platform, while it doesn't guarantee anything, of course, that is the expectation.
Yeah, and obviously, of course, the ICO feature is going to be able to assist massively in that, and assigning a good, stigma to that, is going to be important. And the more, if we can associate that feature with good runners, then it's going to get a really good name, and people are going to come here to use it. Specifically, if that metric is like, yeah, well, you got a better success rate if you use the ICO feature, and you build your team, your crew, your community early before the launch. Get them in, get them hyped, get them ready, and then you're like, all right, this is how the ICO feature is going to go. So like I think it's great because you're going to include everybody from the jump. And it's not always the case. You just trust me, bro. So everybody gets to it's a lot more, I guess, democratic, you could say, right? So I think in that regard, I do feel like you're going to come across a lot of more like legit tokens. But, as Sean said, yeah, any ones that we do associate, like that's what we want. And anybody that's watching this too, if you are thinking about launching something like this, I mean, that's kind of the route I probably take is, get your community going, or else get a group of your, your close trench warriors together, right? And be like, all right, guys, we got the ICO function over here on LunarPump. Let's build this out. Like let's work together as a big community, and we can actually really get a launch off of the solid floor, get away from the sniper bots and actually have a good solid chance of success. We bond this thing, we get 50 back. We get to pump that into whatever we want, right? We can pump it into using social swarm. We can pump it into, other forms of marketing, banners, whatever it is, whatever you decide to do, right? But you'll have all the support of the platform to do it then. And, you have a lot more chance of strategizing. I think a lot of the time that people don't put so much effort in on the front end is because you can get wrecked out the gates, and then it's like, but if you can survive that initial launch, which is always the biggest issue, is where you get wrecked usually right away. If you can solve that, I feel like you're going to see a lot better projects coming, because they'll want to put in the extra work at the front because they know it's going to last a little longer than, what's the standard time frame for a pump and dump these days. So that to me is great. And again, like if we can, like having that requirement for not just, anyone that we do kind of work with or push, but I think for everybody, I think it's a great culture for us to try and promote, like within just all of in our entire ecosystem, because ultimately that is the problem that we're trying to solve with it, and that is one of the biggest things. And offering that across multiple chains once EVM's back online and having the video feature, dude, I think it's going to be a hit, dude, once we really start rolling it out.
Yep, and we don't do release dates, obviously, for obvious reasons. We wanted to have this live like 6 to 8 weeks ago. These platforms aren't easy to build, but with that being said, we are looking to get the newest features like the video live as early as next week. Again, don't quote me on that. But now that the platform is actually built, these things that we're incorporating now are a little bit easier. So that video is going to be coming here very shortly. Another thing too, I kind of wanted to point out to someone, or to point out to everyone. So someone launched Zero Boss. They did do an ICO. So this was made by design. So when you click on a token that did an ICO, this is what the screen is going to look like. And it's going to give you all of the information about the ICO itself so that you can know exactly what was going on with it, how many participants, what the max wallet was, everyone that participated, any and all comments, the ICO launched, how long ago it launched. Now, once you see that and it says completed, in order to get to the main trading platform, you have to go to public trading. That's when, at this point, you can see all the current data. But we did that by design. So if you did participate in the ICO and you click on an ICO token, again, you will be prompted to be able to get all the information about the ICO. And then boom, once you're satisfied and you have everything you want, you go to public trading. And now it just looks like any other token you can buy, you can sell, your total volume, your virtual liquidity, your market caps, your launch price, your bonding, your chart, your comments, all that good stuff. So just kind of wanted to point that out to everyone. It's a very good chart. So we've had total volume at 0.77 and virtual liquidity. It's not far from that. So, yep. Holding strong here for Zero Boss.
It got it's steady out the gates, right? Like, I mean, look at it.
Right? Yep. And I'm not promoting Zero Boss. It's the first token technically to launch on the platform, but I mean, it's doesn't like, I don't know everything behind it. It's here. So by no means am I telling everyone to go buy this token or promoting them, just using it as an example because it was the first one launched. Again, go to public trading. But yeah, nice chart. You have your binding curve and everything you need to see.
Yeah, and I know we had Matt on last week, and if anybody wants to know any more extra juicy details as regards development side of things, go check out that episode, Moon Monday. Matt was on there talking about it, and everybody's asking him questions. But there was one that I had asked him was about, bubble maps and, the bundling and how that looks. Because I know most people are thinking about that and they're, people look at that and then they automatically jump to like whatever conclusion that gives them. No, that is obviously going to be a thing here, right? When it launches, that's going to be. But you can always.
Well, from what we've seen, it doesn't look like it's going to appear as a bundle. From what we determined, so it should not appear like that.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that the point I'm kind of making is that if that ever does come up, like you'll be able to come back and trace the project here and see how. The ICO actually was structured out. So like if you just are willing to go a level deeper and actually do your own research, even if that is the case or it ever comes into question, you'll always be able to come back and check it and, cross-reference it against the actual ICO launch itself here on the platform,
Yeah, do your own research is the most common phrase used in crypto, but it's the least thing I think done is do your own research. I mean, how many times has a buddy sent you a play in a contract address and you just ate there without even looking at it? Pretty much, I guarantee you, everyone listening, you're saying, "Yep, I've done that." Hell, I've done that. So, yeah, it is a thing though. And again, like you said, if you see that and you trace it right back, like you said, just go one level deeper. You'll see it came from LunarPump. Oh, it was an ICO. Awesome. That's why it's like that. Again, it's kind of asking a lot sometimes, but the map should look cleaner than what we initially thought. If what the dev says is true about how it actually works. So we'll see. We
Yeah, I'd
won't
be
really
curious
know
to see it.
until we get one out. And I'm confident we're gonna get one out next week. I'm confident this team will get it done. So
Yeah, yes, same as that. I hope it's going to be great, dude. It really is, and even that one, you just get that little spark. But yeah, I'm just curious. Ape, hell yeah. um, I'm just curious as well, just to hear from anybody that is watching live right now. What's the sentiment out there? How's everybody feeling about this? How's everybody feeling about the timing in the market right now? I mean, Sol's been pumping, ETH's been pumping. So it's pretty good. Sean, you're the market guy. You're the crypto over Red Bull extraordinaire, sir. How's the market looking? How's
yeah,
everybody feeling?
yeah. I mean, let's take a look and see what we're working with. Let's see. BTC dominance is still about where it was. Again, like most experts, quote unquote, will tell you, you're going to want to see this number around 40 to 45 to maybe 50% to kind of really be considered an altcoin market. So we really need this BTC dominance coming down. But the ETH dominance is going up, which is a great thing. I know for the longest, this was around 65%. This was under 10%. So see this coming down, this going up is actually a really good sign. I mean, our market cap's at 3.76. Of course, Bitcoin had a little correction, down 7% in the last 7 days. Ethereum too, but that was definitely going to come with Ethereum. I mean, it had a hell of a run up. I mean, it got damn near close to 5,000.
Yeah. What's ETH all time high?
What is ETH's all-time high? It's a good question. Let's see where we can find.
You're getting the real alpha here, guys. ETH's all time high. Ready? Everybody's probably forgotten. You know, when it's been a minute, like it's kind of shit. What was that again?
Let's see where we can find it. Yeah,
Sentiment
I'll
is
find
bullish.
it at some point.
Sigma is saying
Yeah.
sentiment is bullish. Yeah, I feel like it is.
We definitely got 4.7. Going back, I mean, recently definitely 4.7, but I'm not seeing the exact number of the all-time high. Oh, here it is, 4.953.
All right, okay. Yeah,
so so it's actually never hit 5,000. Okay. I mean, I guess I knew that, but I never really thought about it.
Right, that's going to be the benchmark now. You see ETH at 5K, you could probably be pretty sure we're underway at that point.
Yep.
ETH at 5K, we underway.
And then let's see, what's Solana looking like? 294. I mean, everything's not far off its all-time high. I mean, of course, BTC has been kind of setting new all-time highs, but again, BTC, you know, it's the king of crypto. It's the first thing that's going to move. So, of course, all-time high is almost at 125K.
LPF
still with everyone else.
What's that? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm still with everyone else. I think predicting what's going to happen moving forward, I think is impossible. I think the cycle we know is dead.
I agree.
A lot of people say, oh, you know, we only got 3 more months to the cap or till alt season's over. And I think we're moving past that with all the regulation and mainstream adoption that it's getting. I mean, I want to say when I first got into crypto, 2% of the population was in crypto. If I'm not mistaken, we're at like 5% now.
Right.
And that number is just going to continue to go up as more people. Mr. P's dropped off. Oh, there you are. As more people gain adoption, I mean that number is going to go up.
1 second.
And the cycles are definitely going to change. Yes, 100%. LunarPump Fund needs a lot of traffic and attention and good launches to grow. Yep, this being the key word. I mean, when I tell you we've talked to some of the biggest names in the space, names that everyone's familiar with, that's what they tell you. You want a token launcher platform, you need good tokens coming off of that platform. Plain and simple. It's not ads. It's not, you know, hey, launch it. It's runners coming off the platform. That's the number one key. So of course that's our ultimate goal. And we are talking to multiple different dev teams. This first one was the one we chose to go with because we're just the most confident that they're going to be able to create that environment that we want to create. But there are multiple other ones lined up that we want to partner with. So keep that in mind. Now, with that said, just as a community member too, feel free, launch tokens, have fun. It basically costs nothing to launch a token. Have fun, and yeah, let's roll with it.
Yep. Sorry, I lost connection there. I got a call coming in.
Good.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I just said that popped up there for Picardo. Leads a lot of traffic and attention and good launches to grow. Yeah, and you're right. I think that's kind of what we're saying here as well at the same time. But you got to also remember that what we need to actually be successful we don't need to like knock into the top 3, right? Even close. We start generating even 1% of the volume of any one of those top 3, and we're generating here. Like we're on the pig's back. We're out the gates. So that it's good to kind of keep that in mind too. But yeah, definitely, as many good runners as we can, and promoting the ICO stuff. I think that's going to be massive for us. Is it me or did the viewer count just fall off a cliff since I fell off, or maybe it could be my
I think it's just you. So viewership is
Okay.
low today. It just dawned on me though. It's a holiday weekend here in the US. Just dawned on me because when we went I went pick up, it is. Is it Labor Day?
Labor Day. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I went pick up my daughter from school, she's 2. It's essentially a daycare. It was only her and one other kid. Usually there's like 15 of them running around like maniacs. So I was like, oh shit, that's true. It is a holiday weekend. A lot of people are probably, going to the beach and going on vacation. But yeah, that's why viewership's at 70 today and not the usual like 110-ish because
so I was saying it's showing 20 for me right now, but I think my connection here got a little messed up when I had to disconnect there. So I was like, what the hell? It's like, 70 is good because even on Labor Day, that's cool. Most people are probably tuning in later on this eve anyway.
Yeah, we may even we haven't talked about it, but we may even move Moon Monday to Tuesday. We'll talk about that over the weekend because again, it's a holiday. We always want the biggest audience with everything. So yeah, we may do that. Go on Tuesday for Moon Tuesday.
Moon Tuesday doesn't have the same ring to it, but it'll have great news, I'm sure, at that point because we'll be getting very close at that point. We probably have some updates on that team, I guess, at that point too, Sean, right?
Yep, I'm supposed to meet with him Saturday. We'll have a lot clearer picture of what's going on. As far as the EVM, we're getting it up to par with everything else. Now, there's a couple things. People give their opinion because there are tokens live. We can just switch to a subdomain like evm.lunarpump.fun to keep it live, or just so there's not confusion on why it operates so different, we can just keep it offline for the next couple of weeks till we get it going. But yeah, let us know what you think. We're in the process again of getting that all set up, and I'm pretty certain we will be able to host it, even though Solana and EVM are different. I am pretty sure that we're going to be able to host it all on LunarPump.fun, regardless of what icon you click, without the user realizing that anything is different. So at first I thought it was going to be subdomains, but I think that we're going to be able to host it all on LunarPump.fun. And we're probably, when it comes back, we're probably going to introduce ETH as well. So when it comes back, it'll be Solana, it'll be Infinaeon, it'll be BNB, Base, and ETH. Now, ETH isn't the most popular with token launches because of the gas fees. But if there's going to be a potential ETH bull run, and we need to get to, it's going to go to 5K, 6K, 10K. There's people even predicting it's going to go to 20K. We're making that name for ourselves on Solana. We need to be on ETH because, hey, if people do decide they want to get into the token launcher game on ETH, there is really no other platform that people are using for that. So we want to be there and be front and center. And there's no risk. We add it, no one uses it. That's fine too. There's basically no risk. So why not? Why not add it?
Yeah, and we already got Infinion, VSC, and base on there. It's not like it's going to be anything crazy to add it on the EVM side. Like you said many times, it's not that difficult to get, the EVM chains on there, especially that we've already got multiples on there. So once that comes back, it's up to par. It's on par with the Sol side. The video's in. Uh, ETH being attached, dude. Like we all know, ETH is due a run. So there's no doubt that that is going to happen. And like Sean was saying earlier, and give us your thoughts in the comments too. I'm curious what you think. Do you guys think that cycles are done, or we have seen the last of what we perceived to be like that cycle, like that phase of cycles? There might still be cycles, right? But like it's almost like we're going into this whole new paradigm now where cycles as we know them are not going to be as we thought, and it's going to change, and it's going to
Exactly.
like exacerbate, massively. So that's kind of what we're thinking as well, and it's he could be the one to kick it off. Like there's a lot of hype there when he started running, these last couple of days. So just imagine like when you start seeing Sol or ETH or whatever break its all-time high, right? They're getting close. Bitcoin did it. So like it seems true to form, that Sol's going to do it, ETH's going to do it, and I think at that point we could kind of be, because you can see all the big players are positioning themselves right now, and you can be guaranteed that that ain't going to happen until they're in the positions they want to be in. However, whatever way you want to take that, but we all know it to be true, right? So
Yep,
you
yep.
got to just hedge it, right? But everybody can feel that it's coming,
Yep. Yeah, I don't think cycles, like you said, per se are done. I think the cycle is we know it's done. But I mean,
hmm
I think 2026 is going to be the biggest year ever. I think we're going to see a new all time high in 2026 for Bitcoin, for Solana, for ETH. I mean, that's just my opinion. But a lot of people think the cycle says it's going to be slowing down. I think it's going to be picking up. I mean, I'm almost willing to bet my life that we're going to just continue to see Bitcoin crossing its all time high, regardless of the cycle, regardless of the month, and regardless of the year. Again, just my opinion. Obviously, I can be completely wrong, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, but
that,
yeah, I agree with you there, because like you can't
yep,
have this level of adoption and a 3% increase in user base, uh, to something like this, and expect to see a cycle like you did before, especially then when you're talking about like the first kind of big crypto president. And there's lots of countries in Europe and other places that are like they're trying to like implement this crypto friendly environment as well. So it's not just here either, by the way. Like it's obviously a global thing here. Obviously, everybody has their own forces that they got to deal with and battle against to try and get to the promised land here. But it is happening, and not, like I said, not just on the US, but on a global scale here. Like so, yeah, I agree.
yep.
Yeah, you were about to touch on that comment, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, in countries like El Salvador that are putting all kinds of their eggs into the Bitcoin basket, I think that's going to be something that we continue to see. But I mean, like Sigma said, this is a really good comment, and I 100% agree. I think cycles are done. Kind of like the stock market. It's going to be more of market sentiment now, how the market sentiment is that particular day or month. Fed decision on rates, of course, global liquidity, political decisions on trade, etc. So yeah, I agree with that. It's going to kind of move more with the stock market, not cycles. It's just going to be depending on what's going on in the world and the country on that particular day, that particular week, and that particular month. Is I think how it's going to be moving forward, which is what we want. I mean, in my opinion, that's what we want. We want it to be like that. We don't want to have a 2.5 year crypto winter. Like we just went through that. I'm done with that. So yeah, let's I agree with this statement, and I hope it's what comes to be true.
Yeah, and I think you'll find that you will find that sentiment more and more across than you would think you would at this moment. I know a lot of people, because they don't, two people, well, what I should say is a lot of people don't like to like go too much against the grain. So anyone that's kind of has a big microphone a lot of the time will say certain things to keep people happy, right? It's kind of a self-censorship kind of way you do. Like I said, it's common with influencers, right? When you got a big audience, you kind of almost subconsciously speak in a certain way because your audience kind of almost conditions you as well as the other way around. So you're never going to like break out a barrier you feel like your audience might not want to hear, right? If that is your game. So it's kind of like, people will say things to stay safe as well sometimes. But I think in the trenches, I think the sentiment is like, yeah, we're about to see something that like we may not have seen before, you know. So yeah, I'm pumped for it. And I think we're perfectly aligned too. right now. I think we're in a great position. All the products we got live, like so much is built. And if our timing is as good as we kind of want it to be here, and rides this wave, with the launch of Solana now, with like the products all being out there, the Source Swarm getting launched as well, the blockchain getting pumped up, and obviously trying to pump and push more tokens to get on there too, like is going to be a big drive for us too. Obviously, we're in on the Sol and we want people launching on Solana. That's where the big dog is. But we also want to try and bring some of that heat over to Infinion as well, ultimately. Like, so, and having all those products and things and as much stuff, and bring developers on there and keep building that out in order to be able to facilitate things like that, where people can be like, you know what, I'm going to try out an Infinion launcher because I like how that blockchain works, right? We want to be people to not just to dismiss that fact, right? But it requires us also to have it in a good position as well, and have, we want developers on there also, of course, because they'll build out extra software and stuff like that that can assist in all of this. You know what I mean? So that's obviously an ultimate goal as well. But for right now, of course, it's like heavy on the Solana push, heavy on the LunarPump, just getting people on the platform and making sure that they are as successful as we can make them.
Yep. And, I do kind of want to go back to what you said 5 or 10 minutes ago about the bar, how the bar isn't high at all. So to put in reference, there is roughly 200 million, give or take. Obviously, each day is going to vary, but on average, about $200 million flowing through these token launches. Obviously, Pump That Fund has the biggest share. Les Bonk, there's a couple of other ones, but about 200 million per day. So just getting 1% of that market share would be north of $20,000 per day, not including the bonding fees and different things like that. So if we just captured 1% of that market share, we're looking at about $20,000 a day in revenue, which means 10,000 automatically to Infiniion's LP pools. And then another 10,000, 5% to NFTs. Everyone kind of knows the breakdowns, but that's how low the bar is and how much liquidity there is to go around. And again, we even get 0.5 of that market share. We're looking at 10,000 a day plus bonding fees. We get 0.25. What are we looking at? 5,000 per day plus bonding fees. So the bar is low. We don't need to capture 100 million. Hey, we do. We have a Les Bonk type run where we do $194 million in volume in one day. Absolutely insane. Would change the trajectory of everything we're doing, but it doesn't necessarily have to happen.
And that's the thing too, like, just to touch on that, Sean, as well, is that like it can be a nice slow steady, like, but the thing is, once you even hit that 0.5 or that 1%, everything changes. Like Sean said, everything changes because it just injects this, obviously, a lot of hype for one, right? And it injects all of this volume, and it gets the cogs turning in the ecosystem here, in the whole engine that we got going. You know what I mean? So it's not just, yeah, we're bringing in revenue. It's like this is kicking everything off here, and it's really what's going to do it for us. Tazzy said it depends what ETH and XRP do. If XRP goes super big, it will break the cycle, in my opinion. What do you think of that, John?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that there's a whole bunch of different factors. That being two of them for sure. Yep. Again, same thing. ETF news that always move the markets. Even just rumored ETFs will get the markets moving. So again, that kind of goes back to our comment that Sigma said right here. It's kind of it's kind of just depending on each individual thing. If a Solana ETF is announced, it'll move the market. It's just, again, everything in its individuality kind of is just moving the market. And yeah, crypto is getting institutionalized, no doubt. Which I don't personally like, as it gets more price control, but at the same time, it brings 100%. It's like a bittersweet type thing. It's like you do want it because so much more liquidity is rolling in, but then at the same time, like you said, it does kind of get a little bit controlled. So it's kind of like you need it, but then you don't want it kind of thing.
Yeah, and there's always going to be some level of that, right? They're always like, it's kind of even in a decentralized situation when you're talking about big money, you can just get control, right? Because you got the money, right? It's no different to like a token, right? If you've got enough money to buy up the most of the supply, then it's still technically decentralized, right? Because you paid your fair share and you got in as it's supposed to function. But it does mean that those with the big bags right now are the ones who can dominate on into the future. So that's why it's important that everybody gets the big bag. We want to build the bags for everybody, and again, that's kind of what this is all about. That's what the ICO feature is about. That's what LunarPump is about. That's what Infinion blockchain is all about, is giving it all back into the ecosystem so that we can all get up to that whale status, and get closer and closer to that financial freedom that everybody's looking for, everybody's chasing. It's like the green dragon in this space, right? So that's kind of what this is all about, right? Is trying to like do something different, do something out of the norm, and instead of the majority of the funds going back into the company coffers or whatever, or into mansions and whatever Lambos, it kind of just cycles itself back into the ecosystem, and just more and more and more products and stuff end up kind of spawning from that and building it out and generating more and more and more. So even at its base level right now, it's serious boss with all the products that are attached to it. So it's just getting the eyes on, getting the traction, even just kicking off with that small fraction of a percent of volume that the other big players have right now will be massive. So humble beginnings,
Yeah.
guys. We'll get there, and the conviction is showing. Loads of tokens staked. No one really with any intention of moving at this point. And we've had a good week, actually, if I'm not aware. I've seen some good sentiment in the chat. People seem to be a little happier with the chat right now. There's a bit of a green candle going on. Am I right? I haven't looked at it now myself, but you've been chat watching, Sean, this week.
There we go. Not really. I do know the price has gone up, but also, as Bitnoob said, and also our guy Squid Grow Joe for that wife changing money. I'm pretty happy with my wife, so I think I'll keep her. Mr. P, your wife might be
Yes.
sitting right next to you, so you might want to answer that same
No,
way.
she's not. She's not big. She could be watching. I'm very
She
happy with you,
watches, so
sweetheart. Don't worry.
yes, Mr. P is very. He tells me all the time, all the time. It's all I hear. Yep.
But
Buy
yeah,
now,
man. But
cry
yeah,
later.
that's what we want. We want that life. We want that life changing money for everybody, dude. Because I mean, let's be honest, guys. Like, you look around you right now, the economy ain't great. I mean, look at young people's prospects right now. Like, they ain't great. Look at the AI coming in to this big AI shift that's going to happen. Like, that's we're going to need some reassurances here as a society, as a human race. I feel, as we kind of uh, move on into this kind of new financial frontier, this whole new, like, we are moving into a new frontier here. Like, I don't think anybody kind of can deny that at this point. Given the state of the Fed right now and all that stuff, like, given the state of the supposed, the global dominant currency right now is in the shitter. It's what, 30 plus something $1 trillion, and so it's like, what's the end game here? Like, where does this go if you try to play this out to some kind of a logical conclusion here? With prospects for younger generations right now being probably at an all-time low, I would say. I mean, look at the last year. Like, who's looking at buying a house, looking at buying a car? You maybe rent it if you can, but like, this is what they kind of wanted, right? Is nobody owning anything and everybody just renting everything forever, right? So this is a way out. This is a way out for everybody. So it's kind of like, we need to do this for humanity almost.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, 20 years ago, I bought my first house for like 110,000. It was a nice house in a nice neighborhood. And that just isn't possible these days at all. Not even close. So yeah, a lot of, the generation behind us, they're definitely struggling to do all kinds of things.
Yeah, there it is. Forget changing wise. We all need money to cope with losing our jobs to AI. Well, you know what they say about AI jobs, dude? It's learn how to use the AI, because there's going to be someone that's going to have to oversee it. I don't think we're at AGI just yet. So for now, learning to you. And a lot of the tools, like, yeah, there's going to be like super powered brainy tools, but for the most part, you're always going to need a human element to some degree. Obviously it's going to cut back on the amount of human element you're going to need, but you're always going to need it. But what you're going to see, I think, on into the future is you're going to see the biggest creative boom that we have ever seen in our lives, right? Because that's going to be the new currency, right? The currency now, and which has always been the currency, I guess you think about it, is your attention, right? Your attention is the currency of the world, really, right? Because that's what every marketer is trying to do, right? When you're trying to get ahead, that's what you need people's attention. So fighting for that is, it all comes down to what's going to grab the attention, right? So now that everybody has the ability, if they so choose, to learn how to use AI, get it, like their only limit is their own creativity, their own imagination, and being able to build. Because you see that a lot with apps and stuff that are coming out right now, right? With vibe coding, with all this stuff. Like you can have an idea, create the pilot product, create the website, and have it like close to being to market within a couple of days now, if you kind of understand what you're doing and all that. So I think that's what we're going to see. I think you're going to see so many small independent creators, kind of similar to like the independent journalism boom that we saw when like the internet kind of really started to kind of come into its own and YouTube started taking off and this and that, right? It's going to be something similar to that, right? I think we're going to see, but now we are going to see like loads of like ingenuity, innovation in certain spaces, in certain niches. I think you're going to see a lot of that, because now that people are able to do it, those that have the the wherewithal or the drive to kind of learn how to use the AI and do that, you're going to see like tiny little, what you might never get solved in these.
Oh, there he
You're going to
is. There he
see it
is.
get solved in these small places, areas, where kind of you didn't know it was, right? So you're just going to see innovation come from places that you never thought before, so I'm
Yep,
excited
yep.
for it, dude. We can decide to be scared of it, but look at it this way, right? The people that are in power that we like want to take the financial system and make it decentralized so it benefits the people, they're using AI, right? And if they decide that they want to use it for whatever purposes and they're going to beat you over the head with it, I'd rather maybe fight fire with fire and be able to use AI also myself. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I look at it. What are your thoughts on
Yep,
it,
yep.
Sean?
Yep. Real quick, we don't have too much longer, so any last minute questions definitely get in. But yeah, I mean, it also depends on your field. I'm in real estate, more so development. I'm not actual realtor, my wife is, but I'm in more so the development side. The trades and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how AI would take your plumbers, the electricians, and your mechanicals, your HVACs, and all that fun stuff. So I mean, obviously, it depends on your profession if your job's going to be at risk, but yeah, man, those jobs are, it's like, a lot of people look at a plumber and think like, oh, it's a nasty job, and almost kind of like look down on you. Man, some of the most well off people I know are people that own their own plumbing companies and different things like that, HVAC, your electrical companies. Obviously, I have tons of people like that within my real estate world that own those companies. But yeah, I don't see AI taking over things like that.
Yeah, there's always going to have to be some human element. Sorry, I lost my audio again there. I got a call come in. Um, every time I do it, I can't hear you, so I got to back out, back, come back in. But yeah, there's going to be certain element, like trades and stuff are going to probably take off. Like you're not going to see a super duper competent like trades robot like on a job site anytime soon. They might be able to do some menial tasks like sweeping the floor and this and that, but even at that, I think it'd be pretty clunky, right? So things like that in trades and plumbing, electrical, all that stuff. I'd imagine that's going to take off a lot, but it all depends too, right? It depends on the reason that's going to happen is because I would imagine that the money is going to increase, because if you have a lot of people like pushing and not doing trades and pushing for an AI, you know, job in the future, and they go that route instead, it's going to be a desirable, thing for people to get into. So, I don't think it's anything that we should be super duper afraid of. If we have the wherewithal to go and learn about it, understand it, and be able to use it not as something that tells us what to do, but it's a tool, right? I mean, I think that's the key. That's what people need to realize is like we need to see it and use it as a tool only, right? So I think if people do that, I think it's going to be a pretty awesome future. And if you tie that in with a little bit of sprinkle of financial freedom, dude, I think we could see, wow, the landscape could change like so much. I don't think we could even comprehend what it's going to look like.
All right, guys. I'm not seeing any new questions. We're probably about to go ahead and shut it down. If you have any last minute things you want to say, Mr. B, before we go ahead and close it out.
Yeah, sure. Just hey, shout out to everybody for hanging in there, showing the conviction. We're right there. We got Solana live right now. Another promise made. Time frames aside, promises are made, promises are kept, always from what I've seen. So pat in the back, everybody, pat in the back to the community, the people that are hanging in there, the people that are out there promoting, pushing. We need more of you guys. Come in there, grab a bag of Infinion. Let's ride this thing, right? And we got next week coming with hopefully we're going to see a couple of maybe at least hopefully one runner, and we see some more launches. Marketing's picking up. Just spread the word, keep doing what you're doing, get in the chat, stay active. Community is going to be so important here. Like we said, we want everything to run in tandem. Community is probably one of the most important things we need running in tandem here. So yeah, we're going to have the marketing kicking off. Hopefully we'll have this dev team that's going to send us a nice runner, and then if we have the community running in tandem with that, pushing, promoting, helping encourage these newcomers that will be coming, these new communities that'll be joining, give them a nice welcome, make sure they have a good experience. Like that's us. That's what we got to do. That's our job here. All of us. I consider myself a community member as well. I know Sean does. I know everybody kind of on the team pretty much does, right? But ultimately that's what we're going to need. So just calling on you guys, just be ready. When we're ready, like we need everybody to step up, and I don't doubt that you will, and we'll do everything we can to assist in every way we can.
Yep, for sure, 100%. Now, guys, remember, we'll probably be back Monday or Tuesday. So this is Infinaeon Friday. I'm DeFi Sean. That is Mr. Pixels right below. And we will be back again for Infinaeon, or excuse me, Moon Monday or Moon Tuesday. We'll kind of play it by ear with the holidays, but that's going to do it for today's episode. Until next time, trade safe.